Hi everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of CATIA User Talk, the space where design vision meets real innovation. Today, we're diving into something truly inspiring, the kind of a project that reminds us why we love engineering and design. We'll explore how cutting-edge surfacing and real-time visualization come together to bring ideas. Today, I have the pleasure to welcome on stage two incredible guests, Angel Guerra, our CATIA champion and founder of the 4D, who's been redefining automotive design with his latest project, the GP1 sports car, and Nick McFerran from our CATIA Design technical team, who will show us how this project moved seamlessly from ICEM Surf to the 3DEXPERIENCE CATIA Live Rendering and project perception experience. So buckle up, whether you are a designer, an engineer, or just passionate about innovation. This session will show you how to push creative boundaries and experience design in a whole new way. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, good morning.
It's good to see you. Thank you for joining us today. As usual, could you briefly introduce yourself to those who don't know you? First, perhaps, Angel.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Angel Guerra from Spain, and thank you to invite me to this CATIA show, talk.
Thank you, Angel. Nick?
Thanks, Megna. Yes, Nick McFerran from CATIA Design IPS team, working in surface refinement at Dassault Systèmes for the last 10 years.
Thank you, Nick. Before starting, I would like to remind our viewers that they can reach out to us during this session by asking their question in the chat. We'll take some time at the end to answer them. So let's move on now, as I think they're eager to discover how to use ICEM Surf with 3DEXPERIENCE. The floor is yours, guys.
So welcome to a new edition of CATIA Design Talks. And today we will explore the design process of the Garagisti GP1 model on the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. And at the beginning, or maybe let me introduce a bit of myself. I'm Angel Guerra, a transportation digital designer with over 17 years of international experience. I've collaborated with major brands like Rimac and Bugatti on projects across Europe, Asia, and the United. And now I'm mostly focused on freelance projects. So this is a quick selection of my key projects, most notably my work on the Rimac Nevera and the Bugatti Tourbillon and Mistral models during my last years. And beyond high-performance cars, my portfolio also includes interior design, motorcycles, and yacht design projects. I try to provide an end-to-end design service, managing all phases from ideation and 3D modeling until visualization and engineering. So, for example, while my strongest skill is 3D modeling, from early concepts to Class A surfaces, my engineering background allows me to deeply understand technical constraints. So this ensures that I can cover all the other stages of the process, creating designs that are not only visually striking, but also technically feasible. So after this quick introduction, let's go straight to the heart of today's CATIA talk. So for me, the biggest challenge over the years has been the constant contest of switching between design creation, visualization, presentation, and technical development. And this means continually jumping between different software and formats that, for me, fragments the creative process. So that brings me to the central question here. Like, how do you manage a complex multi-software design workflow without breaking the magic of design? That for me is the most important thing. And my answer is with the 3DEXPERIENCE platform, because it directly solves this problem by letting you navigate between all necessary tools. And this continuity for me is crucial because it protects the design flow instead of breaking it. So to understand this a bit better, let me explain you a bit of my design workflow with the GP1 project that at the end is the same for any project. So, for example, the GP1 was born and developed on the 3DEXPERIENCE platform since day one. So, for example, first, I design and sculpt in ICEM Surf, and this is where the shapes of the GP1 are born. And then I make the leap to CATIA Live Rendering. I can drag and drop my 3D ICEM Surf model and start seeing with real materials under photorealistic lighting. This is already incredible for me for validation. Maybe the next step is to bring the model into product perception experience. We call it PPX. And this is where I prepare an interactive presentation for my clients. I can create an environment, and I can change the color of the car, open the doors, turn the wheels, and this is the car in many different configurations, and everything in real time. And for me, the ultimate impact is the use of virtual reality. VR is my final support tool. Is a tool that allows my client, yes, and me to feel inside or in front of the car before a single physical part exists. And the good thing is that it's so easy to jump between the different tools that you can also use it for your daily workflow. You don't need to wait weeks to prepare the data. So by the end of the day, you can visualize your 3D model that you've been modeling in ICEM Surf very easy, and double checking live rendering if you are going into the right direction, for example. And maybe now that we know a bit the workflow that I will use, let me talk to you a bit about the GP1. So this is my main sketch and my main idea of the project. And the GP1 is a modern execution of the classic lightweight sport cars philosophy. So the main target of this, the design target of this project is back to the icons. For example, the Lancia Stratos Zero Concept, the Lamborghini Countach or Pagani Sonda, just to give you some names about my inspiration. But in general, my idea was to make a design tribute to the golden era of supercars from the past century. So maybe to make it a bit easier, this presentation, let's go through different chapters. So it will be easier to explain you the different stages of the GP1 design workflow. And now let's start with chapter 1, designing the GP1 in ICEM Surf. So here you can see the full geometry of the GP1 concept, the design concept, the first iteration. And its purpose was to validate our main design team, but also to begin analyzing technical aspects like ergonomics, aerodynamics, and overall feasibility. This is really important because I can send already these surfaces to the engineers to double check everything. And I can guess that you are thinking like ICEM Surf for concept modeling. Like I thought it was just for a class, and it's true that it's more common to use for a class, but because there are some other tools that maybe are more famous. But I've been using ICEM Surf since day one in concept modeling my whole career, and for me, it worked really good. And let me show you also why I think is not, because I'm saying also I have a proper explanation to tell you why I think is the best for that too. So for example, for me, the most important aspect of ICEM Surf is its use the technology of Bezier surfaces for 3D modeling. And I won't go, we don't have the time to go into technical details today, but in my experience, this specific family of NUR surfaces provides the highest quality and control for modeling. In my experience, maybe I can resume this in 4 key advantages. For example, direct point to shape editing, like you can control all the points of the surface because we don't work with the spans. So there is not like a hidden information that something is controlling inside of the surface, and you can control everything in this case. And that gives you a really high precise hand-tuned perfection. So according to my opinion, I think they are smoother than B-splines because you don't have a span, so you can control the curvature much better than with a span inside. I'm talking about really high precise terms, for example, G3 continuity. And also the no using of the spans is also good to avoid future editing mistakes when you export the data to engineers. And so this is why ICEM Surf and Bezier surfaces are the perfect embodiment of my digital design philosophy that I created, which I call it HyperSurf. its core principle is a famous quote from Pablo Picasso, like everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. And maybe the best analogy to understand this philosophy is the Picasso's bull lithographs. And look how he captured the perfect essence of a bull with minimal expression in just few strokes.
Excuse me, Angel. So the bull from Pablo Picasso is of course famous, but it's such a simple shape. How can you apply this principles to something as complicated as a high-performance sports car?
This is a good question, Nick, because for me the ultimate goal is to model with the efficiency and mastery of Picasso painting, and it's about achieving maximum expression with the minimal. And for that, I try to define some hypersurf DNA that you can recognize, or you must be able to recognize in each of these models that I work with this philosophy. For example, you can recognize complex surfaces, but distilled to their simplest geometry essence. And also, instead of use so much theoretical surfaces, I use the concept of modern surfaces, which are a bit more complex, but give you more definition in terms that you can define a bigger area of the car with less information. And also, from this model surface, you can derivate into another surfaces to give more precision. We will see now this on the 3D. So you must be able to create these surfaces with just a fewer control points, but always with the maximum intent. Also, creating just a few of pure lines with strict performance, meaning that you have to control all the curvature of the line and control the acceleration. Also, for example, complexity doesn't mean quality. Maybe you could have a very complex patch layout, and doesn't mean that you will have a very good surface quality. Maybe you have to sometimes do the opposite to reduce them to give more quality. For me, a very important thing that you can also check in later on in live rendering is to control how the lights will impact on the surfaces on your model, and how to control the lights around the model. And in general, to finish with the sentence that everybody knows, like a less is more. So maybe now all of you are thinking, okay, Angel, this is a very nice idea about this philosophy, but how we would like to see this in the model. So this is what we will do now. We will do a walk around and see the hypersurf technique on the GP1 model. So here is the GP1, the digital model, where you can see the Bezier patch structure of its components. This is what I told you before, the patch layout. And maybe I will use the clipping plane tool in ICEM to reveal interior details and critical cross-section. This cross section, we call it master section. And this data serves for a dual purpose. For example, to validate the design with my customer, and also launching a preliminary engineering analysis for ergonomics, aerodynamics, and manufacturing feasibility. So, for example, with this status, we are also ready, we are ready to know and calculate many things about the project for the feasibility. And now let's examine the concept of these model surfaces that I told you. So to illustrate the hypersurf philosophy in the digital model, I defined, for example, you can see here that I try to define the entire body side, the cabin, the wheel arches, all using a few foundational surfaces. I try to design each of these surfaces in the same way that I sketch with a pencil. And I trying always to reduce the number of them, because in this way I can control the whole model easier and faster.
So, Angel, sorry, this looks a little bit messy, if I'm honest. So, are these concept surfaces, or are they going to be in the final Class A model?
Good question, Nick, because this is the philosophy that I use for concept modeling, to be able to be really fast, editing the surfaces. For example, if I need to change sections, highlights, and also to play with the model, I use this concept. And then when I need to add more definition, from these model surfaces, I extract another ones to give this definition. And of course, I try to clean up and set everything to the standard or classic surfaces. But this is, for me, the philosophy that I use for concept modeling. And this is why, using this philosophy and ICEM Surf, I'm able to be really fast modeler doing this. So, but as you know, and once we have let's say the model surfaces or the theoretical surfaces, to create a proper automotive design model, the next step after defining all this is to add many layers of detail, because the goal is to finish the car in a highly realistic level. We need to incorporate all the components that you will find on a real vehicle. This is crucial for two reasons: for visualization, but also for evaluation, because you need this part to represent the final production design. So, for example, you see here many parts like the diffuser, the mirror, the lights, and these parts are not the final form of this. We will need to do more iteration to add more refinement to finish them. So this is just like a kind of placeholder parts. But we have the exterior and also the interior. The interior presents, for me, even a greater challenge, because we have numerous components and intricate interface between them. For example, this is an unfinished concept of the interior. This is just to show the main thing of the interior to my client. But even like that, the level of detail that you need for that and coordination between parties is really high. And of course, once you have the exterior and the interior, you need to finish the car, adding a lot of detail, like shot lines to care about each corner, or to finish in a proper way the headlamp, the tail lamp, or the rims. Because at the end, as more complete will be the design, the best experience you will have in live rendering. So, talking about live rendering, let's move to the chapter 2, visualizing in CATIA Live Rendering. And as I told you, to jump from ICEM Surf into CATIA Live Rendering is very easy. You see, we are here in ICEM Surf, and like both are part of the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. You just need to save the file as you saw in ICEM Surf, then open Live Rendering, and then open the file again. It will keep the same names by part that you had in ICEM Surf. You will keep the same shaders, so you just need to start playing in live rendering with the model. And to do that is very easy. For example, here you can see the model with the basic ICEM Surf shaders. So what I will do now is to grab my material from my VCC palette and start applying them. And this is where it gets really fun for me. I can try out any car paint. I can think of maybe the bright red, the light blue, or that dark tone. So I can play around with different plastic or metals from the VCC material, just to check that the design actually works in any case, no matter what material we throw at it. So for my own process, I'm a big fan of live rendering. And then, for example, when I'm preparing a proper presentation for a client, I use PPX, as Nick will show you later. But live rendering for me is like a personal playground. It's where I put my ICEM Surf model to test and to see if it helps out in any situation or with any material or lighting. What's really key here is to see how the shades play with reflections and shadow. Sometimes, for example, it's surprising how different the model could look into the modeling software, for example, ICEM Surf, compared to live rendering. So that's exactly why I try to push it in live rendering and set up really dramatic lights and shadow just to double check that everything is perfect. But wait, because it gets even better. If you think that the normal live rendering is cool, just watch when I switch on a stellar mode. This basically gives us a much more powerful ray tracing performance, making everything look super realistic. This lets us do things like to drop the car into this dark scene and to check how the front and the rear lights will look when they turn it on. And also, it's really nice to see these sleek neon reflections on the car. So to finish, in the end, after testing everything in live rendering, I'm confident that my design is a rock solid. And once I got that peace of mind, I know that the model is ready to prepare for the next step, the client presentation in PPX. And for that, already in live rendering, you can start preparing some visual to support this live rendering presentation, because it's super fast to pull a quick rendering. You just need to hit the render button and let it run in the background. while you keep working on other things in the same platform or with another different tool. So you can see here some example. So now in the chapter 3, Nick will show you the product perception experience with a really nice presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Angel. Yes, so here we are in CATIA Product Perception Experience. So this was put together by my colleague Stanislas Dacremont. Thanks, Stan. What you can do with this is you can bring in your model either from ICEM Surf or from anywhere really, or you can pull it in from the 3DEXPERIENCE database you share with your organization. We can make a template of a presentation for your design review where we preload all your library of materials if you wish, and your different ambiences, different studio environments, and you can build up a template that you can reuse over and over again. You can store different viewpoints. So just by clicking on the little thumbnails with the mouse, you can flip between them. But you can also make a proper immersive experience by applying triggers to a model to switch between the two. So if I go into presentation mode, you'll see how I can, it's animated. It animates the model through the different viewpoints smoothly, so you can control that animation. We're using the very latest DLSS, the deep learning super sampling, which sort of simulates a ray tracing and uses an AI to sort of predict the way it's going to go to speed up the process. So here we are looking at some different viewpoints on the interior. So the interior is always more complex than the exterior, I would know. But here we're just clicking between the different variants just on the thumbnails. So let's come back outside of the car in just a second. Here we go. And let's take a look at some of the other things that we can do here. So we're going to go through, we've got the different rims designs, so the circular style or the slim design. And now I'm going to change to my favorite ambience. This is the industrial ambience, which really brings the model to life. You can see the reflections of the lights over the surfaces of this beautiful car. I think it looks fantastic in these colors, in this environment, with the real-time reflections giving that extra realism. I'm able to turn the wheels, and I've made a trigger on the carbon part of the car. It's very, very easy to do. I'm usually hopeless at this sort of thing, but it's very straightforward to add triggers to your model. So I've made the headlights, the triggers to pick on the lens to switch the headlights off and on. So it's really simple. I think it just looks absolutely gorgeous, Angel. It's a beautiful design, and the way the light moves across it, and from every angle, it looks absolutely perfect. Coming back out to the outside of the car, let's take a little look at what we can do. So you see the DLSS is actually doing proper ray tracing. You can see the reflection of the mirror in the side glass there. So it's actually working. I want to reach in there and adjust the mirrors just a little bit, but and take a look at some of the details here in this beautiful rim design. Check out the reflections and shadows going on and that effect of the disc brake. So a really, really realistic visual experience, all brought to you through CATIA Product Perception Experience. So I congratulate you, Angel, on a fantastic project. Back to you.
Thank you, Nick. So maybe now we can move to the chapter 4, Immersion, VR. And I have to say that this is my favorite chapter because of, for me, this is the most remarkable innovation in recent times. If seeing a model in rendering already felt like something from another planet, then being able to jump inside the scenes with a single click in CATIA is absolutely mind-blowing. And believe me, what you see and feel when reviewing a model in VR is a word away from a flat screen. With proper CAD materials, ray tracing, and shadow, the experience is so immersed that you feel like you are standing right in front of the car. But VR isn't just for impressing yourself or your clients, so they absolutely love it. It's the final piece of what I call... Yes?
Angel, sorry to interrupt you. Which headset are you using there?
I use Meta Quest 3. I think they are a very good set, VR set, and the resolution that give you is really, really high, and for me, it's more than enough to check my design. So, coming back, I call, for example, to see the design trinity, to understand this, I call it surfacing, live rendering, and VR. Because only then, after reviewing the model in these 3 different ways, you are 100% confident that your model truly works. And for example, let me give you an example. On the GP1, we have a graphic line that starts at the base of the pillar and runs along the roof and defines the shed line on the rear hood and finishes on the rear wheel. This solution is new. I knew it. It worked from a design point of view because I created it in ICEM Surf and later on verified it in live rendering. But since I had never seen this solution in a real car, I wasn't 100% sure it will work in reality. However, after seeing in VR, I could finally check that not only does it work, it works exceptionally well, adding a distinctive touch that makes the design, according to my opinion, truly unique. So, and also, if you think that reviewing the car exteriors in VR is impressive, my customers are even more amazed when I have them sit inside of the vehicle. This immersion becomes even much more intense than when you review the interior, and they try to touch and examine every detail in the interior. I think thanks to the BCC material tools that they are very realistic, the ray tracing and the shadow. You feel like you are sitting in a real car interior. So maybe this is the most remarkable thing that I will say from VR in CATIA, that you can apply everything like in live rendering. So you just need to jump inside and you will keep the same visualization quality. And the most amazing part of this, coming back to the beginning of the presentation, is that you can use or you can achieve all this using a single platform and a domestic equipment. I work from a home office, so I have my own workstation. So this has been my design process for the GP1. As you know, created for my client Garagisti, and as we know, using the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. So the workflow involved different tools like ICEM Surf, CATIA Live Rendering, and product perception experience. And of course, you are able to switch into VR in any time. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I look forward to seeing you at the next CATIA Talk, and I'm sure that we will have more surprises in store. Thank you from my side.
Thank you very much, Angel and Nick. It was a very complete and detailed presentation, so thank you for that. So now I think it's time for our Q&A session. We really encourage you to take advantage of our experts' presence, so please don't hesitate to ask your question, and we will answer them. So for now, I can see that we have some positive feedbacks. Nice to see ICEM being used in the first sketch phases. Fantastic design. We have also Angel is a master user of ICEM. Bravo, Angel. Amazing 3D modeling job. So these are a few examples of them. We also do have a few questions. First, we have, is it feasible for all the explanation processes to be executed within a single program module?
Well, I think inside of the platform, yes, because at the end you need to use different tools to do that, but everything is inside of the platform. So I will say yes.
Yes, the 3DEXPERIENCE platform uses various apps that you access through the compass according to your job role. So you can do absolutely everything in 3DEXPERIENCE, or you can use other tools. So ICEM Surf, our fantastic legacy surface modeling tool, Class A modeling tool, is very nicely as a great interface to 3DEXPERIENCE. So you can see it's very, very simple to feed into it from ICEM Surf. So you can do it all in 3DEXPERIENCE, or you can mix and match.
Thank you. Another question, does CATIA Live Rendering have something like reference manager?
That's a good question. Yes, well, PPX really is our answer for reference manager. So PPX, you can chuck all kinds of different things in there. It works slightly differently because reference manager, you can drill down to the individual surface if you wish to, where PPX is part and product based. But they both do similar jobs. PPX has added advantage of having animation tools, and also it's linked to the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. So it's linked to the engineering and the production departments of your organization. So if anything changes in engineering or anywhere in electrical, what have you, then your PPX will update itself. So it's live data that you're actually working on. You can also bring in your simulation results, so you can review your CFD, your airflow lines over the car, and maybe check out different spoiler and diffuser configurations and things like that. But broadly speaking, PPX is what we would use for Reference Manager. Yeah.
Thank you, Nick. A last question. Is there any chance to get CATIA Live Rendering license to try and explore?
So you'd need to talk to whoever provides your DASO licenses. Yeah, I think you probably have to get in touch with, yeah, exactly. So reach out through the community, and we can put you in touch with the right people that can help you to do that.
Thank you, Nick. I can see another positive feedback. Angel, thank you for sharing your workflow. Fantastic job. Great work, Angel. Thanks for sharing it with us. Yes, so a lot of positive feedback. So thank you for this. I think we will close today's Q&A session. Thank you once again, Angel and Nick, for your time and participation. And a special thanks to all of our viewers who watched this CATIA talk today and joined us. We hope that you appreciated this format and you found it informative and engaging. To access everything you need about ICEM Surf and CATIA, visit our CATIA Creative Design and Styling community. You will find a replay of this talk, but also a tutorial, best practices, and above all, the possibility to ask any of your questions to our experts directly in this community. And if you haven't joined yet, simply create an account with an email address and a password, and then log in. We would greatly also appreciate your feedbacks, which will help us to improve our talk. We look forward to seeing you again at our next CATIA user talk. Until then, have a great day. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye.